Namaste, dear learners. I welcome you all to our series of video lessons. Today, we will discuss an essay called The Man in Black, and the present essay is written by Oliver Goldsmith, one of the multifaceted writers of 18th century. He was not only an essayist but also poet, dramatist, novelist, and prose writer. And the present essay is prescribed for BA 5th semester Basic English, Rani Channamma University, Belagavi. The subtitle of today's video session is Nature of the Man in Black. Learning objectives of this lesson are: after completing this session, the students will be able to understand the difference between internal and external way of life. And the session outcomes are: the students will understand the real nature of the man in black. Even though the man in black tries to conceal his original behavior, his natural action, attitude, he seems to be revealing his own character through his actions. Before going to deal with the essay, we will have a quick recap of what we have studied in our previous video session. We learned about the encounter of the man in black with an old man whose wife was dying and who had left behind 5 hungry children at home. Then the man in black come across to a sailor with a wooden leg who lost his leg when he took part in a war. And after that, there comes a poor woman who seems to be trying to sing a ballad with a sad voice. And after these things, we learn about the character, the actions, the behavior of the man in black. He searches for a silver coin, but he finds none, and he gives the bundle of chips which he bought from the sailor to the old woman so that she could feed her children as well. She had a stomach full food. The manners of the man in black are tinctured with some strange inconsistencies, because the man in black seems to be a kind of person from the outside, but his inner behavior, but the inner quality of that man seems strange to the Chinese traveler, and there are lot of inconsistencies in his character. The man in black seems to be a humorist in a nation of humorists. According to the writer, England is a country of humorists, and the man in black is a humorist among those people. The man in black is generous even to profusion. The man in black is very generous and seems to be the man in black is very generous, but he doesn't want to reveal his generosity to the world. The heart of the man in black is dilated with the most unbounded love. The man in black seems to be of a kind of person who has unconditional love towards humanity, and he seems to be a man who loves humanity, and he is a philanthropist who lends his helping hand to the people who are in need of help. But the man in black doesn't want to show himself as a philanthropist, rather, he wants to profess himself to be a man hater so that his country will not be discredited in front of the foreign travelers. The face of the man in black always glows with compassion, even though he wants to appear as hard as possible, as harsh as possible. His face and his eyes seem to be compassionate, and they are glowing with compassion. The looks of the man in black are very soft, and the eyes of the man in black are full of pity towards the poor people. The man in black always use the language of the most unbounded ill nature. He talks about the social political system of London with the language which is most unbounded. And he talks about the provisions of the government which are given for the poor and the beggars of England. The man in black takes as much pains to hide his feelings. He had feelings, but at the same time, he tries to hide those feelings for the poor people. The man in black seems amazed to understand how of his countrymen could be so foolishly weak. He seems to be amazed, surprised to learn the foolishness and weakness of his countrymen. And at the same time, the man in black seems to be surprised at the inactive behavior of the rulers of England. And he says that the magistrates or the people who do not do anything are impostors. The heart of the man in black burned to relieve the 5 starving children of the poor man. When he learns about the 5 starving children of an old poor man, his heart melts away suddenly and he lends his helping hand. And the man in black seems to be hesitating between compassion and the pride. The man in black gives a piece of silver to the old man to bring food to his 5 children. The man in black pretends to expose the impostor, and the man in black questions the sailor. And the protagonist seems to be obliged to preserve the appearance of ill nature. He was the sympathetic human in man in black buys the bundle of chips for 1 shilling by the sailor. When the man in black learns the story of the sailor, he suddenly buys the chips for extra money. He gives extra money than the price of the chips. But at the same time, the man in black pretends that he has made a cheap purchase in front of the Chinese traveler. The misery painted in the woman's visage was not half so strongly expressed as the agony in his heart. The woman who comes at that time seems to be an image of the agony of the poor people of England. But the man in black tries to hide the agony of that poor woman, and he wants to help her, and he puts his hand into his pocket and searches for the money, but he finds none. And when he learns that he had ran out of money, suddenly he remembers that he had bought the chips from the sailor with a wooden leg, and gives those chips to the poor woman so that she can feed her children and herself. In the concluding part, we can say that the man in black is a man of strange inconsistencies. There are lot of inconsistencies in the behaviors of the man in black, and the man in black represents the people of England. The present story is not only about that man in black, but it is the story. It is the story of entire England. He is a kind-hearted person, but he wishes to appear stern and hard-hearted. Inside, he is very kind. Inside, he is very soft. But he wants to appear to the world as stern and hard-hearted. In his encounter with the beggars, the mask that he wears always drops off itself, and the original behavior, the genial kind man, is revealed when he comes across to the beggars in front of the Chinese traveler. The man is one who cannot exhibit generous behavior without being ashamed of it. The man in black wants the world to see him as a man who does not care too much about the well being of others, much less the unfortunate. He is man in black because he hides his benevolence. He does not want to be noticed for it. He is the man in black. And we learn that the person in the story seems to be every person in us. We as human beings don't want to show the philanthropic attitude of us to the world, but at the same time there are some people in the world who wants to record their behavior, and but this man is very kind, sympathetic, and genial, with a compassionate heart. But outwardly, he seems unkind, looking like a rude, curt, and stern person. This is in contrast with his inner personalities. In those days, the English society considered the male population to be aggressive, manly, stern, and chauvinistic. The dominance of males by their ultra masculine nature in the family is encouraged and accepted socially and politically. Goldsmith discourages these stereotyped aspects of male dominance in this essay. The essayist mocks the way the society and politics of that time regarded male authority as prestigious and dignified. He wants to suggest that the trend of being what you are not should not be encouraged. Thank you very much. With this, we come to the end of the essay. Thank you very much.